Do you see that maybe eventually one day Europe will have the backbone to stand on their own feet and refuse to be their foreign policy to be dominated by the US?
I go to bed every night and I wake up every morning praying that that will happen, but I don't see it happening. Europe was dependent on the United States from day one, from the end of the Second World War, naturally. Europe was in ashes, it was destroyed. If you look at the way that the European Union was constructed, it was an American design. The French and the Germans were not talking really. The Americans took their heads and banged them together and they said, you are going to form a cartel. And they formed a cartel of coal, steel, manufacturing and so on. And it also had a currency system that was imposed by the United States, the Bretton Woods system, with fixed exchange rates. That was a disaster. Because the moment the crisis hit in 2008, from Wall Street, from America again, the European banks that had invested everything, had bet everything, the whole house, on the Americans, they collapsed. They had a lot more debt than the American banks had. If it wasn't for China, Germany would have been kaput, would have died. So the Germans know that they owe their survival and recovery after 2008, 2009 to China, but they're not allowed to say it. The central bank, which we had in Frankfurt, the European Central Bank, was by law prohibited from saving the banks. So the Europeans started, the European authorities, putting the burden of bailing out the bankers on the little people, on the working classes. And that created a lot of discontent. My country was destroyed effectively by austerity and loans that cannot ever be repaid. And that created an implosion in Europe. The more our politics imploded as a result of this economic catastrophe, the greater the lack of a capacity for Europe to operate on Europe's behalf, and the greater the dependence on the United States.
Subscribe for more analysis on World News.